Om Arham. This lecture series on Arihant Vandanavali delivered by Heena Vora, JVB Swadhyay. Now, Heena Ben, up to you.
Thank you very much, Samniji. Om Arham. I will start with Naukar mantra first. Namo Arahantanam, Namo Namo, Namo Sithanam, Namo Namo, Namo Ariyanam, Namo Namo, Namo Uvachayanam, Namo Namo. Namo loe savasahunam. Namo loe savasahunam. Eso panjanamokaro sab bhav banasano mangalancha Savesim Padamam Havai Mangalam Padamam Havai Mangalam. I bow down to the lotus feet of Arhant Prabhu, Acharya Shri Mahashramanji, Samnijis, and dear sisters and brothers, good morning, Om Arham, and Jai Jinendra. Welcome to this series of lecture on Arihant Vandanavali, and you know this poem is to do with our Arihant Prabhu. It is so beautiful poem that we are looking into, and we have done up to 22 stanzas already. So I'm just going to go and show you some of the stanzas that we have already done, and from the picture you will be able to see. Okay, so this one we have done up to this poem is translated in Gujarati by Chandulal Sakarchand Shah, and Gurudev Sri Jayantlalji Muni has described it so very well. Okay, so now we have done up to 22, so we'll be starting off with 23. So we are already into Prabhu's Diksha Kalyanak. Okay, so and this one is these old stanzas that we have already looked at. So it describes how Lord feels when he was in mother's womb, and then when he is born, and then how all the Indras and Indras take him onto the Mount Meru, and how his Janma Kalyanak has been celebrated. Okay, so this is all we have already looked at, and now we are looking into Lord's education, his adulthood, and how he was already into all the Gnan. And as you can see, all these, look how beautiful he looks, not in outside, but inside as well. So the virtues are being described. All this we have seen, and we already looked at how Lord decides to give up everything and takes Diksha, right? So this is all to do with his Diksha Kalyanak, and we already saw all these ones, and now we already discussed about Paran Pakshi last week. So now today, so a poet is just not satisfied with, no matter how many comparisons he has done to Lord. So he is still continuing to compare Lord with all these different things. So the next comparison is, the next stanza is number 23, and the comparison still goes on. So as usual, I will start singing, and then I request you all to please sing in the last line with me. Of course, you can unmute, but when you sing this, then you will understand the real bow of this prayer. So you must try and sing the last line to yourself. Okay? So, Kunjar Sama Suravira Je Che Singha Samanir Payavadi Gambhirata Sagar Samijena Hradayane Chevari जेना स्वभावे सम्यता छे पूर्णिमाना चंद्रना एवा प्रभु अरिहंतने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो मारा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो. So, his bravery is like an elephant. He is fearless like a lion, and his heart's depth is like that of any ocean. He is also calm and equable like the full moon. To such Lord Arhant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs, namaskar, and joyful emotions. So now his strength is compared with elephant, and his virtues are also compared with ocean and moon. Okay, so now here the kunjar, the word kunjar means elephant. Lord's strength is compared to an elephant, how elephant keeps on marching steadily and strongly. And so it's like his perseverance to achieve that Keval Gyan, and that is compared with like a elephant, how elephant goes slowly, but he perseveres wherever he wants to go. In the same way, his fearlessness is compared with lion. He is completely fearless, like how lion is fit. He doesn't care about anything. He's very fearless. Now Lord's virtues are compared to the moon, how serene moon looks, like moon's graveness is compared with moon's graveness, and sobriety as well. And the sea is compared with sea, that is the the graveness of the sea. So this is how, and if you all know Logasa Sutra, the last line, last stanza of Logas is somewhat very much similar to this. Yes, as we say, Chandesu Nimalara Aichesu Ayampaya Saira Sagar Vargambira Siddha Siddhi Mamadisantu. So here also Lord is compared with all these 4 things like elephant, lion, ocean, and sea, the very the graveness of the sea. Yeah, so he is comparing all these 4 things. But if you just like look at it, all these 4 things are so important. It's like, you know, the any bench or any bed or something, if you see, they all have to have 4 legs. Now if one leg is not there, then of course it doesn't balance. So these 4 virtues are balancing Lord's inner virtues. Yes, that is how exactly it is, that if any one leg is not there, then he's not sampurna, like we say, he is not total. So this describes Lord's totality. And that is why poet is so impressed that he bows down at the end, looking at all these virtues in Lord. Now, again, he's comparing Lord with some other things. So here, Akas Bhushan Surya Jeva Deepata Tapate Jati Varipurta Digantane Karuna Upeksha Maitriti हरखावताचे विश्वने मुदित तना संदेशती एवा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे नमो मारा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे नमो. So just as the sun shines like the jewel in the sky, Lord shines with his austerity and fills up the universe with compassion, neutrality, and friendship. He makes the whole world happy with the message of Pramod. To such Lord Arhant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs, namaskar, and joyful emotions. So here now, Lord is compared with sun, first of all. Yes? So fills how the sun fills the whole universe with brightness and gives warmth without any prejudice. Same way, Lord, with his samyak knowledge, enlightens the whole living being. Not only that, but he spreads compassion all over and preaches the vow of friendship, which is the main gate to moksha. Compassion and friendship will only develop if one has equanimity, which is the heart of Jainism. Thus, one can manifest the path to moksha, and with the virtue of mudita, one keeps the whole world. Mudita means that's a pramod bhav, that is appreciation, and keeps the whole world happy. Yeah. So mudit is pramod bhav, and there is one very similar thing, like a stanza in Amit Gati, Acharya Amit Gati ji's Samayik Path, and that is also very beautiful, and it goes like this: Satve sumaitrim gunishu pramodam kliste sujiveshu krupamaratvam माद्यास्तभावं विपरीतवृत्तो सदा ममात्मा vidadhatu deva. So, you know, there are 4 contemplations that manifest, and that has manifested already into Lord's heart, and they are friendship, appreciation, compassion, compassion and madhyasthata, that is neutrality. These 4 are so important to step on the spiritual path, and once one have this, and then the life becomes very joyful. Yes, so Lord has all these virtues in him. And that is how he is being described to the sun, how sun, without any prejudice, he fills the whole world with so much brightness. Lord is the same with his knowledge. He is not like, he has no prejudice towards anything. He spreads his virtues all over the world and makes everybody happy. Okay, so this stanza again is he's being compared with sun, and all this compassion, equanimity, friendship, and joyful. He is all the time. He has got all this in him. Okay, and it is very, very important to develop equanimity, so that we can also spread friendship. Once you have compassion, equanimity within your heart, then to spread friendship and be in joy all the time, it comes automatic. So from this, we have to learn that. Now we look at the next one. Again, he is still being compared. Now the poet is looking into Lord's inner strength, not the outer. So, Je sharad rutuna jada sama niramara mano bhavo vare उपकार का विहार करता जे विभिन्न स्थलों विषय जैनी सहन शक्ति समीपे पृथ्वी पण झांकी पड़े एवा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो मारा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो. With pure thoughts, like the water of autumn, he travels about different places for the benefit of mankind. He is compared to the earth's forbearance. His is a way much higher. To such, Lord Arhant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs namaskar and joyful emotions. So, here we are talking about Man Yoga, Kaya Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. That is psychic activity, physical activity, and devotion. Yes, so how this is more about his inner strength. Why the autumn water? Why is he being compared with autumn water? Is because as all the initial rain, you must have noticed that is always full of all the impurity. But after a few times it has already rained, then only the pure water left. So much cleaner rain later. Yeah, that is why is in autumn the rain is much cleaner. That's why he is being compared. So from the point of Dravya Bhav, this autumn water is cleaner in the same way Lord's psychic Pudgals also has become very pure and crystal clear. That is due to all the tap that he has been following. Since Lord is in Sukla Lesha now, everything is so much purer. Now that Man Yoga is so much cleaner, it has no wishes for the body, and that is why the body and that is why the body doesn't move about as per Man Yoga. Man Yoga is like, when we act as if however we feel, but Lord has separated his Man Yoga and his psychic Pudgal. So he moves about as per Man Yoga. He does not move about as per his Man Yoga, but the Kaya Yoga itself becomes independent. So his body just keeps moving and involves in auspicious acts only. That is why the auspicious body of Lord with the divine bhav becomes the reason to travel for the welfare of mankind as well as gods and as well as like for the devas. Yeah, and joyous mankind and devas exhibit Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is the only one that we can see. We cannot see Kaya Yoga or Man Yoga. Yes. So this is how it's been compared. And just the way there are variety of people and situations takes place on the earth, but earth bears everything and anything and anyone in the same way. When Lord is traveling, he is preaching, he preaches to so many different level of people, yet his teachings are so appropriate for every different level of people, keeping the base of ahimsa. As in picture, as you can see, he can teach animals, very cunning people, as well as high level people as well. As you can see in the picture, there are some cunning people, but he still can preach them and calm them down. Okay, and also he can preach very like they say hardu karmi jeev, that is those who are at a very high level, and he can still preach those people as well. So here his inner strength are being compared with all this like rain and and with the earth, how the earth forbearance is, Lord's forbearance is lot higher than that. Okay, so we move on to the next one now. Bahu punya notya udaya che eva bhavikana dwarne पावन करे भगवंत निज तप छठ आठम पारणे स्वीकारता आहार बेता लीस दोष विहीन जय एवा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो मारा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो. So here, Lord arrives at the devotee's door whose virtuous deeds have come to fruition to break his fast of 2 or 3 days or any other tap he may have undertaken. Thus, he sanctifies their place. He accepts food that is faultless in 42 ways. To such Lord Arhant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs namaskar and joyful emotions. So here now, first of all, we have to understand Punya Bandha. How Punya Bandha is one's own bound karmas. Now, when this arises, one has a choice either to use that and good time for himself or for the betterment of the universe, which is very, very important. With the selfish thoughts, one cannot bind punya karma again. So maybe you have bound some in past, but if you don't use it to again to do the punya for the betterment of other people, then you are not going to bound those punya karma again. So and if you use that for your selfish reason, then it is you are not going to have punya karma again. So while binding punya karma, if your thoughts are pure and are to help others, then only you bind again and again punya karma. If the soul has bound punya karma without infusion, then the fruits of its automatically becomes for the betterment of the universe. So paropkar, yeah. So when the punya karma comes to fruition, if we are attached to more, then only he is ready to bear the fruits of this punya karma. Otherwise, without more, if the soul's punya karma comes to fruition, then their punya itself will become for the betterment of the universe. This is the case of Arhant Prabhu. So whenever Arhant Prabhu has done anything, as you can see, he is also accepting the Gochri, but he is accepting Gochri not for himself or his selfish reason, but he is thinking of those other souls who are also at a higher level, and he is just pleasing them by taking the gochri from them. Okay, so again, faultless food is it, the stanza says faultless food is the symbol for the sadhus to follow. They always have to have the faultless food. As you know, there are about 42 different faults that so, and they have to make sure that the food is without those 42 faults. Okay, so Lord is already following all this beforehand anyway. But this is just the message to all the sadhus as well, that when they are on this path, they have to follow the rules of all the gojri of the food that they accept. Okay, and this was a very important thing about punya bandha, that whenever we do any good work, our thoughts have to be very pure and not selfish. Then only that punya karma will, when it comes to fruition, it will do good to you. And so basically your thoughts always has to be pure and not very selfish. Okay, so here this stanza is about punya karma of the devotees. Now we go on to the next one. उपवास मास क्षमण समातप आकरा तपतावितु विभु वीरासनादि आसने स्थिरता धरे जगना प्रभु 22 परिसहने सहता खूब जे अद्भुत विभु एवा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो मारा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो. So here, Lord of Universe, by following many difficult penances like fasting for months, like that is called shaman, and sitting in virasan type of asan, stays still training his body. He bears the 22 types of adverse situation that is called parisa. He is amazing. To such Lord Arihant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs namaskar and joyful emotions. So here there are two things that we should discuss. The asan, the position of body. Why is it so important? And 22 parisa. So here whatever is said is more for the municharya. That is the aspirant of the moksha can follow this for the advancement in their sadhana. These are the types of sadhana that Lord followed. Asan, tap, and bearing the adversities. Yeah, Lord had to follow all this in order to achieve Kevalgyan. So first look at asan. Most of the Indian religion, the Astang Yoga are the root of the religion. And out of that Astang Yoga, there are 3 that are to do with the body, which is yam. What is yam? That is 5 anuvrat, mahavrat, and appropriate other vrats. So we have the same yam, and then niyam, that is 5 samitis and 3 guptis. Those are the niyam. Those are the things that we need to follow. And then asan. So asan here is described about the asan, that to keep the body still in a chosen particular way. Why is that important? If we keep on being fiddling all the time, then our concentration is on our body and not on our soul. And that is why asan is very important. As you can see, of course, we are far, far away from this, but Lord used to, how he used to do his penances by sitting in one particular position for long time. And that is asan. And that also here, this stanza shows that it is also very important during, and you know, this is why they say when we follow Samaik for 48 minutes, we should be staying in one position. That is the only way we can concentrate on our soul. Yes. So if we can't all the time, at least when we do Samaik or Pratikraman, it is very, very important. So our mind don't wander around on our body, and it will concentrate on our soul. And the other thing important is parisa. This parisa is like natural calamities that sadhu faces during their sadhana, like too much cold, too much hot. Sometimes they don't get the place to live, and sometimes there are some on their way from one place to another. They come across some very cunning people and they mistreat them. All those are called parisa. And in Uttaradiyan Sutra, the chapter number 2 is totally onto this. It describes all 22 parisa, which is also very, very good to understand it, that what they go through on the path of renunciation. So here, Lord is bearing all those 22 different types of parisa, which is giving the message to all the sadhus to bear the same natural calamities, whatever comes along on their path. Now, these calamities, these are not predicted. Like when you decide that you want to fast, you know what you are getting into. But these ones are very unpredicted. So all the sadhus have to be much prepared, very much prepared. Whatever comes along their way, they do not deviate from that path. This is why it's been described here. Okay. So now we move on to the next one. Bahya apyantar badha parigraha thaki che mukt che Pratima vahan vadi shukla dhyane je sadai nimagna che जे क्षपक श्रेणी प्राप्त करता मोहमल्ल विदारिने एवा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो मारा प्रभु अरिहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो. Now, he is free from possessions, be they inner or outer. He is always engaged in pure meditation, which is called Sukla Dhyan, whilst observing all pratimas, that is 11 types of special rules. He climbs the Kshapak Shreni, defeating the demons of the moh, that is delusion. To such Lord Arihant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs namaskar and joyful emotions. So here there are some words that we must understand. That is parigra, which is possession. Lord is free from 14 types of inner and 9 types of outer possessions. He is free from all possession and have accepted 12 types of sadhu's special sadhana. He's always engrossed in Atma Chintan, and so he's always within his soul and leaving all the attachments behind. He is marching on Kshapak Shreni. Okay, so here parigra, let's understand the meaning of parigra. Gra means comes from, so grahan karu, like graham, that is to own something, that is parigra. So in Lord is free from any parigra. And you know, it is very important to understand parigra. Our to own something is not parigrah, is our attachment towards the thing is parigrah. Okay, so we can have lots of things, that is okay, that is not parigrah, but our attachment towards it, especially when we lose them, that is our parigrah. So if Lord is free from all types of parigrah, inner and outer, and always outer comes from inner. Once you always want to own something, that comes from your inner self, and then it's outer. So Lord has a very good control over his inner and outer parigrah. Now let's understand the pratimas, that is marking the spiritual rise, that is total 11 stages. How one can march onto this path. There are total 11 pratimas that are being described in our Jainism. So pratima is a step or a stage marking the spiritual rise of a lay person, that is for us, Shravak. There are 11 such steps called pratima. After passing the 11 steps, one is no longer Shravak, but he becomes Muni. So there are two types, inner and outer bhav, that is Dravya bhav and inner and outer bhav. So inner that we and then there are possession, that is greed. So we talked about that one. Now Shukla Dhyan, let's look at the Shukla Dhyan. After then we will look at the pratimas. So one of the four types of meditation, that is Shukla. Shukla means pure or clean. So to concentrate the thoughts without any possession or an object is called pure meditation. Okay, and this Kshapak Shreni, this is also very important. The soul that is able to destroy completely the subtle greed remnants of Mohniya karma in the 10th Gunastan attains this stage. Now, it is on the Kshapak Shreni by passing. So they pass, they don't go into 11. So there are two shrenis, like how you are climbing those 14 Gunasthanak. There are two shrenis. Kshapak Shreni is an Upsam Shreni. So Kshapak Shreni is that you miss the 11th stage because there are no remnants of Mohniya, that is deluding karmas. And that's why from 10th to you go straight onto the 12th stage. Whereas if it is Upsam Shreni, then means there are some more still within you, and that's why sometimes you fall down. You can fall down completely. But Lord is just surpassing the 12th Gunasthanak, and he goes, 11th, and he goes straight onto the 12th Gunasthanak, because there is hardly any more. This is a stage of almost the highest purity of meditation, and that's why it's called Shukla Dhyan, whereby the soul also destroys the other karma, that is Gnanavarnya, Darshnavarnya, and Antray. At the end of this stage, the soul becomes omniscient, Keval Jnani, and others and enters this 13th stage of Sayogi Kevali, which is the stage of omniscience. However, in this 12th stage, this is very important. He is still in the 12th stage. The soul is still not perfect, but is only Chadmasta, as the name of this Gunasthana indicates. This is due to the part of bondage of major or Gati karma, which is the soul shades in the last moment of this stage, which is the 12th stage, for the progress to the next stage of perfect knowledge. So they achieve perfect knowledge into the 13th Gunasthanak. This is made possible by the soul as it has given up passions and kashais completely, and resultantly the Ghati karma are eliminated. Stone to liberation or moksha, that is stage number 13. In this Gunasthanak, all types of deluding karmas are totally eradicated. Okay, so here, like Lord has taken Shapak Shreni, so he is not falling down. He's going up and up and up, and that is how he gets the Keval Gyan. Now, let's come back to the 11th stage, that is 11 Pratimas. These 11 Pratimas are, I will just describe them very quickly. As first of all, when you decide to go on this path, the first one is called Darshan Pratima, the worship of the true God, true Guru, and true Shastra. So the scriptures that are prescribed by our Guru, and the avoidance of all the wrong things like gambling, meat eating, drinking, and whatnot. Anyway, so, and the second Pratima is the keeping of the 12 vows and the vows to observe. Those 12 vows you all know. Okay, and then the third one is Samyak Pratima, that is engaging in the meditation or worship on a regular basis. Fourth one, what you need to do is fasting 4 times a month. Then the next one is Sachit Tyag, that means not eating vegetables and having the capacity to grow, because they have the capacity to grow again. That's why giving up on even eating vegetables. The next one will be Ratri Bhukta Tyag Pratima, that is giving up eating during the night and or coitus during the day. Then is Brahmacharya Pratima, that is abstaining from sex related activities. Then it comes Arambh Tyag, that is refraining from any activities to earn living being. Then you go on to Parigraha Tyag Pratima, which is detachment from most possessions. Then you go on to Anuramnati Tyag, and that is giving up right to give permissions. That is refraining from giving orders or expressing consents in the family. Then Udisthata, that is the complete renunciation of the householder's life, retiring into a forest and adopting the rules laid down for the guidance of moksha. So these are like 11 stages. These are the 11 pratimas that when one wants to proceed towards Municharya, from like where we are, then these are the 11 stages that one needs to follow. Okay, and they can be grouped into 3 different ways. That is, grahin means the least you can do is the first 6, and then you go on to the 7th to 9th, and then you go on to the rest of the 3, right? So 10th and 11th pratima, at this point, the person depends on others for daily survival. So those who have ascended to the 11th pratima are now termed as Chullak, or so those who wear only the 2 articles, and Aileka with only 1 piece. So either they accept only 2 pieces of cloth or only 1 piece of cloth. Okay, the 11th pratima is termed as Shraman Buddha pratima. So being almost like a Shraman. Okay, so these are the 11 pratimas that is being talked about here. Of course, already Lord had followed them. That is why he is at that stage. But these are all just giving us the messages how one can climb the ladder of. And as you can see in the picture, he is sitting right on top of this ladder. So he has already done it all, but this is for us to understand, and if you want to progress on the spiritual path. Right. We go on to the next one now. जे पूर्ण केवल ज्ञान लोकालोक ने अजवाड़ तू जेना महा सामर्थ्य केरो पार को नव पाम तू ए प्राप्त जेणे चार गाती कर्मने छेदी कर्યું એવા પ્રભુ અરિહંત ને પંચાંગ ભાવે હું નમું મારા પ્રભુ અરિહંત ને પંચાંગ ભાવે હું નમું. His omniscience brightens the whole universe. No one can comprehend the enormous strength he has achieved by eradicating the four soul obscuring karmas. To such Lord Arhant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs namaskar and joyful emotions. So here it is talked about Lord's Keval Gyan. So now this is the fourth stage. Lord has just achieved his Keval Gyan. Okay, so as we say, there are 5 very important events in Lord's life. So this is the fourth one, which is Keval Gyan. So we are entering into Keval Gyan now. And what the different names of Keval Gyan are, it's itself is a liberation. In itself, it has many names, likely Mahagyan, Paripurna Gyan, Ananta Gyan, Dosh Rahit Gyan, and so many. So as we all understand, Keval Gyan is full knowledge. And when that is achieved, one can see all 3 realms in it is indescribable in words. So it cannot be described, but he can see anything and everything. That's what it means. Now, Lord's new outlook is amazing after having achieved Keval Gyan. That is why poet is so overjoyed that he bows down to Lord Arhant. As you can see how he must be looking, and he can see everything. So we cannot even imagine the beauty of Lord Arhant. Yeah. Now, and as we in the previous stanza, as we saw, he followed all those 11 pratimas, 14 gunasthanak, and now he is into the 13th stage of spiritual ladder, and he has achieved his Keval Gyan. That is why he is looking so very beautiful. So this, and we do this one, we will just do the last stanza for today. जे रजत सोना ने अनुपम रत्नना तृण गज मही सुवर्ण नानव पद्ममा पद कमल ने स्थापन करी चारे दिशा मुख चार चार सिंहासने जे शोभता एवा प्रभु अरहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो मारा प्रभु अरहंत ने पंचांग भावे हूँ नमो. Shining with 3 fortresses made up of silver, gold, and jewels, while sitting on a throne, his feet on the golden lotus flower. He is visible from all 4 sides. He looks glorious. To such Lord Arhant, I pay my homage with 5 limbs namaskar and joyful emotions. Now here, since Lord bound Tirthankar Nam Karma, these things are all obvious, whatever this stanza describes. Yeah? So, very important, what do we concentrate on? let's understand, like, first here poet is describing all this which is very attractive for us, but poet's message is that you are too involved in such dazzling items, but concentrate on Lord's. Just see how pure he seems, and just the way Lord has all these things around him, but he is so steady and concentrated in his own soul. So by describing all these poets' message is how Lord is so detached from all this. So this description is about Lord's Samosaran. His feet, as you can see, is on the golden lotus flower. He is sitting on a high, the throne, yes, and then he is surrounded with silver, gold, and jewel fortresses, as you can see in the picture. Yeah. So can you imagine how dazzling the look can be? And we would be so amazed that instead of looking at Lord's inner virtues and outer, we probably will just get involved with all these things. How? Because it is so important. Like, to us, it is so impressive. But the message from this is we must concentrate onto Lord's message. And sometimes I myself personally feel that maybe one day we were there into Samosaran, but maybe we were just too busy looking at all these dazzling things that we really didn't concentrate on Lord's virtues. Well, of course, this is my own thought, but and I just would like to say Samosaran is a retreat, is a term used to describe the divine assembly hall of Tirthankar. So what really it means can also be defined as a place where all are given the common opportunity to acquire wisdom. Yeah. And this is why sam means same, usaran. So everybody is given the very equal opportunity to acquire the wisdom, and this is why it's called Samosaran. Okay, so I would like to end my session today if with this. Is there any questions? Anybody has any questions? Okay, I suppose you don't have any questions. Right, so I would just like to sum up my today's lecture by bowing down to Lord Arihant, and if I have said anything against our religion or if I have hurt anybody's feelings, I say Michami Dukram to all of you, and we hope to see you next week. We'll just recite Chattari Mangalam, Arhanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Panato Tamo Mangalam, Chattari Logutama, Arhanta Logutama, Siddha Logutama, Sahu Logutama, Kevali Panato Tamo Logutamo, Chattari Saranam Pavachami, Arhante Sharanam Pavachami, Site Saranam Pavachami, Sahu Sharanam Pavachami, Kevali Panatam Tamam Sharanam Pavachami. Upsargakshayam yanti chityanti vignavallaya mana prasannata meti pujyamane jineshware sarvamangal mangalya sarvakalyana karanam pradhanam sarvadharmanam jainam jayati sasanam जैनं जयति सासनम्